Alright. This is a long topic, but you guys deserve it. Because I know some of you are going through it, and you're beating your head up, your heart is taking body shots, and you're like, I ain't the one. Let me tell you something, God gonna deliver you. But as they say, knowledge is power. So I'm gonna put it out there. It comes from a place of love, and you deserve to have the life intended. So let's continue talking about the weapons that a person with NPD has. NPD is narcissistic personality disorder. They take a position of they're the ones that are self-righteous. They're the ones that will hold on to the do as I say, not as I do. They're the ones that will use secrecy as their greatest weapon against the person being abused. So if you're in a situation or a relationship and then all of a sudden behavior change, this is a red flag. They lock it up. Now, if you're in a committed relationship, committed, shouldn't there be trust there? Your relationship should be transparent across the board. So therefore, if you got passwords on your stuff, what you hiding? What? What is it that you lack, that you feel insecure, that you can't share with that person of significance? That's a red flag. Here's another thing you know. They will use diversion as a tool. So, say for example, if it looked like a dog, smell like a dog, bark like a dog, it's a dog. But they will throw that gaslighting technique to throw you off the trail, because you're getting too close. There may be something that they're hiding that they know that if you found out, you're going to leave them forever. Or it is unexcusable behavior. See, they will use manipulation as a way of a shield. So the things that you lack and gravitate to them for, they will use against. Why? Because it's as if it's normal to them. It's a cycle pattern. You can turn around and say, hey, I love you. I love you, man. I love you, my queen. And they'll look at you like, it's like they're there, but they've checked out. Why? Because that emotional connection that should be there ain't. Don't fault yourself. It cannot return until they make the decision to seek counseling. Now, listen, my people. Listen. Especially I know in my culture, we look at seeking psychological attention as a crazy. You ain't crazy. You trying to be convinced. Because sometimes you may be in the midst of your greatest challenge. Your mate, your family member, and they will use the things that you hold value against you. Let's say you're on your spiritual walk. They're gonna use spirituality to get you to feel unsure. They want to play with your mind and play with your heart, like, oh, they're gonna go after that conscience. But guess what? They ain't got no conscience. Why? Because it's a learned behavior. Someone planted that seed, and just so happened you are in the harvest of that seed. But that can't happen if you see your worth. A person cannot do anything you won't allow. That is why that you have to have proper, healthy boundaries in your life. You feel me? I know you do. I know you queens, you're like, you know what, this starting to make some sense. Because it's time for you to get that knowledge. I'm a witness. I can testify. God will move you and position you to receive the information intended so that you can discern from it. Some of you may be in a marriage and you're like, man, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. But I'm in it now. I've been in it for 15, 20 years. I've also gotten to a point of condoning it. Well, guess what? It ain't your fault. Your intentions may have been pure. May have been pure. And love is pure. If it's, look, when you love someone, you love them without expectation of return. If you loving someone and thinking that it's going to be reciprocated, you're not loving them. You're trying to control them. And why do you have to feel like you pulling teeth? Or you dragging them? Or you trying to hold on to something that don't want to be held? Because if they see your value and see your worth, shouldn't it be equal? Shouldn't it? So stop beating yourself up. My queens, all you do is you stay in your head 365, 24 hours a day. Your strongest weapon you're going to ever have is your discernment. That is why it's important that you have courage to speak your truth. Synchronicity, baby. See, sometimes God will allow you to be in a season for preparation for the things that are going to be blessed too. And they're not going to be easy because He wants to know that you get it. But if you are in this stage of life and you're transforming your life, it should be equal on both sides. You can't uplift someone if they ain't ready. That's just like me turning around and putting $1 million in your bank account and you don't know how to balance your books. You're going to squander that gift. That gift should be your heart. That gift should be fostered by your spirit and your direction through Him first. So stop beating yourself up. Here's another thing that you know a person that suffers from NPD. Look at the family dynamic. If the family dynamic is dysfunctional, now I know come on now. We know we got acceptable level of norm, and then we know like this crazy. This is like some out of a Tyler Perry movie. It's because there's some emotional baggage going on, and what will happen is it's going to constantly resurface until it's dealt with, until it's healed. It's going to keep bumping on the top of that. Whatever's got it down, it's going to keep bumping it up and down until it is revealed. That's why Jill said everything comes to the light. That is why I'm going to tell y'all right off the bat, for some of you that are looking at taking your life to another level, until you have truly mastered what it is that defines your life, the best thing that you can ever do, hear me when I say this, is not bring someone in your life, allow someone in your life to wreck it, to wreck their life. Because what you'll be doing is you'll be perpetuating the cycle. What do you think? Why do you think the generational curse originated from? Limited knowledge. So if Uncle June if Uncle Stephen was an alcoholic and you live with Uncle Stephen and that's all you saw, you're gonna have a level of condoning it and eventually emulating what you already know is knowledge. So if you grew up with your cousin and all he did was run women, and that was your environment, you're gonna emulate what you saw. Energy out, energy in. That's why in the Bible it says, I'm a babe in the word, but bear with me. But if I'm correct, in the Bible there's a passage that says there's an age of accountability, which is age 12. Because by the age of 12, you got an understanding of right and wrong. But a person that suffers from narcissistic personality disorder does not. Why? Because it's just like having a baby, right? And you beating it. You beating it. Well, what happens? That baby will build a resistance to that pain. But the connections that really fosters their emotions is gone. So if they were from an environment that was emotionally void, they got the same amount of time that it took for them to transition is going to be the same amount of time it's going to need for care. You feel what I'm saying? Energy out, energy in. So let's talk about those weapons again that they use. They will also, they're going to use the things that you lack or you desire. So, alright, my queens, say for example, in your spirit, you just want to have a loving home. You want a home to feel emotionally safe, right? That person, every time they have access and you go to their environment, they're going to make sure that home feels safe. It's going to look nice. Everything is going to be perfectly in place. It's going to be flawless. You're going to feel like you're in a movie. Everything is going to be laid out for you because they're trying to trap you. The end result is, before you even walk in their house, is I'm going to spread her open like a damn watermelon. And after, depending on how long it takes, the end result will be that. And then guess what? Look how long it takes for you to leave. Because that was the agenda. But once again, a person can't do what you won't allow. Get it? You gotta own that. That's the only way you're gonna free yourself. Fantasia even sung about it. Free that. You gotta free yourself. Now, here's another thing that they will use. Say, for example, you want financial security. You're a hard worker. You're good at what you do. So you think to yourself, so, well, you know what? I'm tired of doing this by myself. I'm tired. I'm going to use what I got to get what I need. And you go ahead and become the lure. You go out and put yourself in provocative positions. You willfully exploit yourself thinking that's what's going to keep them. Yeah, it's going to keep them until they get finished using the last trick, or you becoming a trick. But guess what? Little do you know, you are something to do. You're not going to be the one. You won't get that ring. And he'll just wait till he'll try to be subtle about it. And hopefully throw you subtle hints. He'll disappear on you. But little do you know, when he disappears, he's actually appearing somewhere else. That's why I tell you, my queen, stop thinking you're a man, because you're going to get treated like one. It's not easy being a man, but it damn sure ain't easy being a woman. That's why y'all built the way y'all built. That's why y'all built the way y'all built. And that's why God loves you, but He can't touch you and help you until you see your worth. I get sick and tired of seeing my queens walking down the street on a cell phone crying because of some bad boy then manipulate him. But she put herself out there. You taking a walk of shame. But you can't erase that stench of what you did and what He made you do, that you knew you didn't want to do it, but because you put your heart out there, He took it and stomped on it. Why? You didn't have boundaries there, sweetie. It wasn't your fault. And guess what? When I say this, for every person that takes a position to manipulate another person, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. God going to be like, get on with it. Somebody, the devil's going to step up. Thanks. He's going to send that moon. He's going to be the best lover. He's going to be very charming. He's going to be financially sound. And as soon as you act out of line, he's going to start beating your ass. Or worse, he's going to sexually assault you by way of your mind. He's going to be so brazen with it, he's going to allow his boys to try to get at you. Deliberately. Because he don't love you. And as soon as you turn around and take the bait, he got it out. Because he don't want nobody that he can't manipulate. That's where that like-minded comes into play. And that's pure evil. And God, oh man, when I tell you this, when you look around, you don't even realize that you're in your storm. Because what's going to happen is all the blessings that were supposed to come at that time are going to be deflected. And that's another thing. Let's talk about that. When you talk about things that are important, that require clarity, they never have time. They deflect. They don't own anything. Why? It's not that they don't want to, it's that they already have a condition in their mind that I'm not claiming that. That's not me. It's like, for example, you know how some of you may have been through this, maybe you haven't. Think about that time you went to the club and you got blasted. Then you woke up the next morning with a stranger and your panties on the floor. And think about that feeling that you had when you drove home the next day. And how much pain and anguish of your self-criticism, criticizing yourself, chastising yourself. You're like, how could I have been so foolish? Why? I will never do that. I swear I won't. Knowing that you're going to do it to the 20th power. But what you don't realize is that narcissist, he already figured you out from the first conversation. And each time he's like, okay, I'm going to reset the trap. And not only did I have her doing this, I'm going to push the envelope a little bit more. I'm going to get her to do that. Not knowing and seeing the destruction that you're causing. Because eventually when you do see your worth or get tired of being tired, you're going to leave. They don't take responsibility of the emotional baggage that they have given you. Why? Because they got the same thing. They'll hit you with a guilt trip and say, well, you know what? That would have never happened if you didn't do it. But little did they know, that's passive-aggressive energy. Because they know already before you stepped in their presence what they were going to do. That's why I tell y'all from the break, if you're in a relationship, you make sure you got them boundaries down. You make sure of that. Because little do you know, the person that you might be dealing with, male or female, are going to exploit you. Because you got a lot of emotional blackmail going on. You turn around and be like, yeah, baby, take a picture for me. And you thinking that that person respects you, and as soon as you nut up and kick him to the curb, he gonna turn around and exploit you. or worse. My queens, no man can respect you until you respect yourself. Please do that. You are the flowers of the earth. Don't you see that? But some of you are walking around with low self-esteem because of what your mama did, what your daddy didn't do, what your brother didn't do, what your sister didn't do, and all you wanted to do was live a good life. It had gotten you so convinced that the world's on your shoulders, you started to self-destruct and mutilate yourself. Some of y'all don't even realize how beautiful you are naturally, but you turn around and hide it, only to put money in another person's pocket that don't care about you. Why? Some of you walk around with contacts, which has been going around for the last 30 years, but you got naturally beautiful eyes, but you hide that. You know why a lot of people do that? Because that's like putting on shades during the daytime or at night, because they don't want to. The eyes are a window to the soul. And God is going to allow things to build up until you break down. And you don't want to be in that situation where you are a slave to medication, or worse, you are in an institution rocking, compulsively crying, you're weeping, you're purging, and you feel that no one loves you. God loves you. God loves you. And guess what? The people that love you, they love you. But they know their boundaries, they know their place. They're going to turn around, they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you, hey, slow down. Why do you think Prince wrote that song, Little Red Corvette? Listen to the words. Because you guys are self-destructing. You're searching for love when you can never have the love you need until you love yourself. But you got to own what you do. That's the protocol. Why do you think it's in the Bible? Love thy neighbor as thyself. The body is a temple. Hello? You women, you are the gateway to life. Why do you not see your worth? You are the gatekeepers of life. For some of you, self-esteem is so low, you'll compromise it for a piece of bubblegum. If you ain't lying, look at you would have more if you did. But it all starts from that childhood. It's when you're going to purge. When you're going to purge that. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I got to do it again because there's some other things that NPD, people with narcissistic personality disorder, also use as weapons. So I'm going to put it in the next one, and I'm going to bring it on home. Okay? As God is my witness, they're going to get it, Lord. God's praying for you. You know I am. It is time for you to claim your place and define your walk. To embrace your worth so you can see it with clear eyes. Till next one.